original. Da, da, da. I don't know if that's how the song goes, but I am living for it. Amara released that, not released, but she showed the clip of it on her Instagram live, and I have been like, hey, let's take it first. Oh, wow. I'm sorry I did that Spanish voice. Ugh, I'm American. Forgive me. Anyway, Amara, baby, you better stick with Mona Scott Young because, honey, you are on the fast track. You are on the way up. She is giving you the Cardi B treatment. Now, I will say this. Mona Scott Young can make stars out of Afro-Latinos. Them African-Americans, woo! She don't know what she doing with them, but them Afro-Latinos, y'all better stick with Mona Scott Young, especially if you dark, you know, or like ghetto. She could do something with you. Them white passing ones, ooh, not a good look. Not a good, to be honest here, and it's maybe because I cut it out of my diet, but that fried chicken that Trick Daddy was making, woo, that looked delicious. Every time he put a little sauce on it, I was just like, ooh, add a little bit more seasoning. He looked like he was doing the dang thing, and I feel like that chicken was bomb. Really, Mona Scott? Now, just as I was getting my life for this chicken, you gonna have Trick Daddy making fried chicken and then cutting up watermelon. Come on, you see that in the edit? Y'all could have cut that whole thing out. Y'all, ooh, y'all not slick. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Black History Month. Disrespectful. Shay. Or the Shay character that she plays on the show. Sis, is you. It's you. I'm not saying that Shay is broken. I'm not saying that something is wrong with her. But there is something wrong with how she chooses or picks men. Because Shay consistently picks unavailable men and then gets upset when the relationship don't work out, or when the unavailable man starts acting unavailable. Girl, you knew he was unavailable before you even got into a relationship with him, or a sexationship, because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like she allowing all these unavailable men to hit it, and then she thinks because, you know, they was all up in her behind, that now they're in a relationship and they're just like, oh no, I'm an unavailable man. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Girl, you gotta pick better. Did Scrappy bark at her? I can't with him. I really like him, and I don't know if you guys know this, but if you're like confused to why you're starting to see Scrappy, it's because this was like supposed to be his show. Like Love and Hip Hop Miami was crafted around Scrappy, so I don't know what happened. Maybe he decided to go back to Atlanta, or maybe his partner in crime left the show, and I know that was Jacqueline. It was her and Scrappy were the ones who were supposed to be leading the Love and Hip Hop Miami cast, but this was years ago when it was first announced. I don't know what's happening now, but I understand why we're starting to see a bit of Scrappy, but it's just awkward because this was created to kind of be his show. His show and Jacqueline's show. Like, Jacqueline would have really popped on it. So disappointing, because I would love to see how she would interact with Amara and Veronica and, you know, just being amongst her people. I would love to see how that would all work, because she's spicy and she knows how to, listen, say what you want about the girl, but she knows how to make a show. So I know she probably would have did some things to like get reactions out of people. You know, this is what you do when you're working with your singing partner, because come on, this ain't real, but we're having a good time, okay? So that's why I'm here. But I'm just disappointed in her, because I think that she would have really done really well on this this part of the franchise. So oh well, we got Amara, and this could have been you, Jacqueline. You playing. Let's get into Amara. First of all, I do not for one second believe that her and her mother's favorite place is a strip club, because her mom seemed very uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable, it was just like, oh, this is terrible. But even when she was leaving out, and just her energy within, like in the B-roll, it just did not seem like she was a regular strip club goer. I just felt like this was put in her storyline to like make her, to be quite honest with you, not as cookie cutter, because that's the image that she gives off. And I think that they're trying to, like, you know, give her a little spice, you know, a little sass, a little, oh, why am I giving all these like code words that you hear on auditions? Forgive me. But I think they're just trying to make her a bit, another audition code word, edgy, right? So I think that's what the whole like strip club thing comes from. But then we get like this scene where her and her mother are crying about being broke outside the strip club, and I'm like, you know what? Every day we just stray farther and farther from God's light, because what is going on here? Like, I get it. I honestly get what Amara is saying, because it's the truth. As somebody who works in this industry, let me tell you something. I can put on, you know, because I got a couple fabulous gowns. Don't hate. I got a couple fabulous gowns. I could put it on and I could be on the red carpet. You know, when you're out here in LA, it's just because this town is a movie, TV kind of town. You just have access to a lot of these things that you normally wouldn't have if you didn't live in Los Angeles. Same thing with New York City. When I lived in New York City, it wasn't that hard to get into a fashion show during Fashion Week. Like, it was rather easy because that is just the culture of that place. And it's the same thing with Los Angeles. Like, I've been to movie premieres, I've been to screenings, I've been on countless red carpets. It's not that hard, right? You just have to have some kind of media presence. And I could throw in a fabulous gown and I could go, you know, on the red carpet and be interviewed by, you know, a entertainment reporter and have a good time and get a swag bag. I'm digressing for a second just because I've been to a few events out here in LA and I got a bunch of swag bags and I got a lot of products, a lot of makeup stuff, a lot of hair stuff, a lot of stuff that I want to show you guys. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna start doing reviews on those things as well. I mean, I have them here. I might as well share them with you before they actually hit the store. So look out for that. What I was saying about Amara is I totally understand it. You know what I mean? I'm living it. I'm not even going to sit up here and lie. I'm living off of residuals right now. And residuals are what I make after I do like a TV show or commercial or something like that. But once you get your first residual check, it's nice because it's everything that you have made or accrued. Then those checks start dying down and they not as nice as they used to be. You know what I mean? So I'm somebody who, I've been on a TV show, I've been in commercials, I'm doing this Hollywood thing and this Hollywood that, and I'm also on a serious budget. Like, it's not a game, you know what I mean? Like, I had the budget in Black Panther, you know? Like, it's true. Like, that is the reality of a lot of stars unless you, like, really make it big, because within the entertainment industry, there is no middle class. You either broke or you wealthy. We don't have a middle class out here. If you have a middle class, those are the people who have other side hustles. You know what I mean? You might be an actress, but you also might be a very successful hairstylist. That's the middle class kind of people. But if you're not doing anything else on the side, like YouTube or writing, you're lower class. It just is what it is. So I get everything that she's saying. I totally understood. And I like the fact that she was telling the truth about this industry, because that is the God's honest truth. A lot of times people don't have it. And a lot of times these, especially musicians, they go broke because they're using loaner money from studios to make it look like they're wealthy. And then if they don't hit, they got to pay that money back. So they file for bankruptcy. They get in like huge debt because they haven't been able to make back what they owe. You know what I mean? So I get everything that she is saying, and I'm glad that she brought that to light. That's what I like about this this franchise, Miami. Although it has some of its messiness and it's getting a little rocky in certain areas, I like the fact that we have a lot of real moments in the midst of this fakery, right? Like, we tune in for the fakery, we get it. But there are so many moments where I'm just like, I get it. Like this scene with Amara and her mom, I get it. Outside of the strip club, I get it. You know, you know, crying about, I got this nice purse, but I really don't have no money. She probably went to an event and they was giving out purses, or somebody saw that she had a certain amount of Instagram followers, so they sent her these clothes. That don't mean that she can still make her rent. That doesn't mean that she can afford her car note. Like, that's just the reality. You can be on TV, you could be traveling the world, you could be touring, but at the end of the day, when you are an artist, you are literally making what people make in a year in one lump sum. And if you don't know how to budget, you'll be in a situation. Thankfully, I'm cheap, okay? I'm a discount diva. So I've been able to survive. If I wasn't a discount diva, child, I don't know where I'll be. Tricking. Probably tricking. Oh, let me stop playing. My mom watched these reviews. I wouldn't be tricking, mama. I wouldn't be tricking. No, I wouldn't. I do, I did, I'm done. Let's get into Joy and Trick Daddy. The thing about it is, I can't really invest in this storyline because so many Miami people are outing this relationship as just, this whole storyline of them is so fake, phony, and forced. And I just can't get into it because so much tea has been spilled about it. People are spilling on Twitter, on Instagram, even people who also review this show. Like, there's one lady, I'm not going to say her name, but she tells everybody's business because she's from Miami. She tells everybody's business, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So Trick and Joy, I really can't get into it, but Trick Daddy's just naturally funny in my opinion. And Joy, what I love about Joy is, Trina was talking about how she's this hairstylist and she does everybody's hair. And I'm like, Joy, this show is bad for business because although you say that you're a hairstylist, we never actually see you doing hair. Joy is always fluffing somebody's hair, never like really using any kind of tools. Like, it just looks like she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, it all looks just so fake. And I'm like, if you are supposed to be a hairstylist, girl, this is your time to advertise your business. Why do you allow them to have you looking like a plum fool on this show? She literally had Dawn's hair like it was a mannequin hair at like a beauty school on her first day. It was frightening. Veronica. I'm not a fan of Veronica on this show. I wasn't a fan of her before. I don't like her use of the N-word. I can't, right? We're going to get into that. But I just have to say, I don't know who you pissed off in production, but girl, they are giving you the worst edit possible. This is they didn't even give Jocelyn, was her name Jacqueline? I was calling her Jacqueline. It's Jocelyn. Oops. See, I done already forgot. Girl, you better get on something. Jocelyn. They didn't even give her this kind of edit, and she was terrible to them. We are just being introduced to you, and your edit is garbage. The fact that they allowed this scene to be played of you recording the vocals for this song and your vocals, sis, it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and the fact that this was aired, I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what you did or who you got into it with. I don't even know if you're going to be back next season. But it just looks like sabotage. I'm serious. I'm going to have to be honest. And I'm not even a fan, right? So, you know that I had to see something. I was just like, why would they put this in? Like, you're supposed to, like, that's the deal when you come on these reality TV shows. I'll act a plum fool if I can use this platform to get my whatever I'm hawking off the ground. And honey, you're not going to get your music off the ground. They have you looking ridiculous. Them vocals were tough and not in a good way. Steph LaCour, who says you got to stop hanging with Veronica. You got to stop hanging with Veronica because Veronica is a ship that is going down. Call her the Titanic and you better get off it. You better get off it because you're going to go right down with her. So Veronica and Steph are having this conversation, and Veronica all of a sudden is now the Amara La Negra, and she's just like, well, JoJo made these hood comments. And so her and Steph are just like, oh, hood, and they're so offended by the hood comments. And I'm like, oh, really? So you can see classism, but you can't see colorism. I wonder why. I wonder why. Can we also talk about how Veronica is such a liar? Like, she never tells the truth about any of her interactions. She always tells a side where she is like this angel. And if you know Veronica, like, you should know that she's not like this angelic kind of person, at least from what she's giving off of this show. But she always makes it seem like she is some kind of victim and just constantly being attacked out of nowhere. By the way, she retells stories, because I'm listening to her tell this story to Steph, and I'm like, we saw it, honey. It didn't happen like that. But she does that often. Trina got the Keisha Cole package. She don't do nothing. Mama pops in and out whenever she feels like it. She does not get involved in drama. She does not hawk anything. We do see her at her concerts or whatever. The best thing that I've seen Trina in was that, you don't know now. That was the only thing that I've seen her in when she was doing that at her concert. That's it. She don't do nothing else. I'm telling you, she got the Keisha Cole package. I don't know if she got what Keisha Cole got, because I realized that after Mona probably found out that she was getting punked, she stopped paying that kind of money out, because Keisha Cole really didn't deliver much for the season that she was on. But Trina has come into this as the queen bee, and she is not doing anything. And I'm disappointed. I didn't want her to get involved in a drama, but we want to know about you. Like, you're on reality TV. We're getting to see your life outside of the concerts. And yes, this show is messy. And yes, it's fake and contrived. And there has to be some kind of storyline driven around drama, written around drama. I honestly get it. But let us know something. Let us see a different side of you. Like, hawk something, like something. She's just in and out, because here she comes in and she sits down with Steph and Veronica, and it's so awkward because she like walks in from a patio into like the living room of the studio. It was just so awkward, and she sits down and she talks to them, and I feel like the only reason why she was there was to bring in this storyline of Veronica using the N-word. And I'm like, girl, you's a dummy. Like, where's your management? Pitbull, talk to your girl. Like, what are you doing? Why would you even allow this to be your storyline? Because Trina comes in and she's just like, out of nowhere, they just start talking about how Trina got in trouble. First of all, Trina don't even seem like she hang out with either one of them. Like, she doesn't give off that she has a connection with Veronica or Steph to just be talking like that. But she was just talking to them like that. But anyway, Trina's just like, oh, I got in a lot of trouble when I did a song with you because you used the N-word. And Veronica's just like, yeah, I use the N-word. I'm from the hood. Guys, the thing about it is, it's not that people don't understand. It's not that non-black people don't understand why they can't use the N-word. It's that they don't care. And they do not respect black people as human beings. They do not respect black people as equals, right? So I'm going to say what I want and I'm going to do what I want. I don't care how it affects or it offends you. You are beneath me. So I'm going to take a word that was used to demean you that you then repurposed and gave it a different meaning so that your enemies wouldn't think that it stung anymore. So I'm going to take that word and I'm going to use it because your culture is flawed. And this is a way for me to get into something and garner some kind of money and respect and cred so that I can get to the next level of my career and then become a pop star. That's exactly what's happening here. She does not care about black people. She does not respect black people. She can only see issues when it comes to her. So she'll use the N-word because it'll make her song pop. She'll write the N-word on the songs because black men are writing those songs for her. She'll steal our culture and do whatever she wants. She'll throw in her African grandmother when she wants. What part of Africa? It's a damn continent. I hate when people do that. Oh yeah, they're African. Where? Where? Like, tell us, okay? What part of Africa is your grandmother from? Egypt? You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want to pop out with. Anyway, because, you know, they don't even rock with us like that, truth be told. So that's what it is. She does not care. Because when Amara La Negra was going through all of that stuff, she did not care. And as a black person, since you a nigga, as a black person, as a nigga, you recognize what's going on there. You recognize what's happening there when one of your peoples is being disrespected for the color of their skin because you recognize what being called a nigga brings on. Okay? With the AH and the ER. And she knows that. They all know that, guys. They all know it. Nobody is ignorant. Same thing with blackface. They do not care. White people, white passing people, non-black people who want that liberty do not care about how we feel. Do not care about the trauma. Do not care that it's something in the community. They'll make any excuse. They'll say music. They'll say they banged a black person. They'll say they have a black child. They'll do whatever to make an excuse other than just say, I do not care, you inferior Negro. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. She knows what she's doing. Black men that she lays with, that she calls a nigger when they getting off on her, don't care. So for her, it's like, okay, this is just what it is. I'm hood, I'm ghetto, so I can say nigga. When I go around white people, they treat me like a other. She didn't say, you know what I mean? She didn't say black person. She said other. She knows what she's doing. You know, she just doesn't care. So I'm not even going to get into it with her or with those kind of people because I know exactly what they're doing. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because white people are so loving. We are so giving. You know what I mean? We went through so much trauma in this nation and all we want is equality. We don't want revenge. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't want to do the same thing that the people who oppressed us did to us. We just want equality. We want peace and we want to have a good damn time. You know, we don't want to get into that. But there are people who love being a part of our culture who we allow because we're loving. So we'll allow you in. But because of the stigma, because of the racism, because of the oppression, there's just no respect there. So they come in and they take liberties and they do not care because there is no respect for people who look like this, who got this nose, who look like Veronica's African grandmama. Okay, that's exactly what it is. So girl, bye. Because you have jacked up your entire career because who won't listen to your music? Who? Your peoples ain't rocking with your music like that. It's us you were marketing to. And I would have been like, Mona, this is not a smart storyline for me. This is my community. These are the people who are going to buy my work. You know what I mean? So I can't engage in this kind of storyline. And if you're not okay with this, then I won't be on the show. You so desperate to get on a freaking show, you have killed whatever career you were trying to build, honey. Like, use wisdom. Now we move over to Chinese Nicky. You know what? I apologize for calling you a sleepwalker. I realized like that has stuck with me. And I realized that was a low blow, right? It just, when I immediately saw her and her daughter, it was jarring for me because, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but that still was not right, and I apologize for that. I will, however, say this. You are definitely giving me Tattoo from Fantasy Island. I saw it, especially in this scene where you and Kiara, what is her name? Girl with the butt, with the bulletproof butt. I was like, that's Tattoo. That's what it is. Because I kept on looking at Chinese Nicky like, what is it about her? I'm seeing something in this Tattoo. That's a compliment. Everybody loved Tattoo. Everybody loved Tattoo. So girl, go with it. Go with it. But you know what? At this point, let's just leave the Botox alone. Let's just, you know, stop. We good. You good. Let's talk about Chinese Nicky and Chinese Kitty. And, oh, you know what? Are they even Chinese? I feel like I'm saying something offensive every time I call them their names because I don't think she's even Chinese. You know, this show is so ignorant. I will say this. I love that Chinese Nicky and Chinese Kitty are very close as mother and daughter, right? I'm very close with my mom. But there are just some things that I will never do with my mom. Hoeing is one of them. Like, she is so, like, sexual and forward and just hella disrespectful in front of her mom. Like, there was a scene last episode where she was like, both of them were like trying to entice Scrappy and the dude he was with, and then it's this scene with Chinese Nicky, Chinese Kitty, and Shay and Dawn, who is at this point, Dawn, you're too old for this foolishness, mother. You got to move on. You got to move on to another franchise because you are too old to be going in and having these fights, and you know, I just can't see it for you on this show. Unless you're somebody's parent, you got to get off. Like, really. Anyway, Shay and Chinese Nicky come together and they originally start to squash whatever beef they had because Chinese Nicky, who when she's not being influenced by her child, sounds reasonable. Like, she was just like, I heard a commotion. I saw you with your hands up or whatever. So I'm thinking that you're going after my child. So that's why I did that. And she respected that because she understood, which shocked me because I would have been like, I don't care who you thought it was. You put your hands on me. So now I got the black eye. It is what it is. It's the law of the streets. Get with it. However, before it could be properly squashed, Chinese Kitty comes in and she starts popping, that's my friend. I'm going to do what I want with my friend. And I'm just like, Chinese Nicky, you know, the Kitty, whatever. You have to get your child together. She is out on TV and on Instagram. Like, you know what? There are women like that, right? And I ain't slut shaming. I'm not. But there are girls like Chinese Kitty who you see in certain situations and you see all over Instagram and all these shows. The last thing you think is that they have a mother who is riding right beside them with the foolishness. Every girl who has ever, especially on this show, just take a look on this show, who has ever, you know, resorted to essentially tricking, you know, or using their bodies to manipulate men to get certain things. They've all had some kind of jacked up relationship with their mother, some type of home relationship. What is her name? Tommy, for example, who every season had me in tears when she was talking about, not saying that she was tricking, but she would say that, you know, she learned scamming from her mom, you know, and she did a lot of that because she had to survive because her mother just wasn't a mother. So you always think that women in these kind of situations, because nobody wants that kind of life, right? You always think that, wow, there's obviously no kind of parental supervision or somebody is not really protecting them so they don't have to use their bodies at such a young age to get certain things because there's somebody over them. The fact that Chinese Nicky is in Chinese Kitty's life and this is the result, what's going on at home? Because now I'm looking at this situation and I'm just like, just because you can reproduce does not make you a parent, honey, because the world is watching your daughter in an unfavorable light and you were standing beside her cheering her on. Nope. And it seems like the dad is in her life too. What happened? I'm still Team Amara, right? But I'm going to have to read her in two situations. So earlier in the episode, Amara is crying about how she just doesn't have it, right? And she's struggling, and her mom is a cook, and she's trying to get another job to help her. Then we have this scene where she's writing her music in a BMW. Like, she pulled up in a BMW, and I'm just like, girl, that better be a rental. Because if that is your car and your mother is sitting here flipping burgers, then I'm going to have a problem with you. Because you don't need no BMW to get from A, B, C, D, wherever. You don't need that. I got a Kia, okay? It gets me to and fro to my auditions. When I can get the coin, when I become like a freaking, can you hear me now kind of person, when I become Flo from Progressive, then I'll get my Bentley. But as of right now, because I'm doing, you know, a commercial here, a commercial there, I'm riding in my Kia. Then we get this scene with Amara and young Temecula, because I will not call him Hollywood. Young Temecula. She calls him up, and they decide to work together. He tries to help her out and take her to a radio station or whatever, and, you know, help her get her music on the air. And I'm just like, now, sis, this is what you're not going to do. You almost had the entire black community decapitate this dude. He has been dragged on Instagram. I think he deleted his Twitter because of the dragation. I think he also got rid of his Facebook because of the dragation. Now you're going to sit up here and become his best friend. And it seemed like from the scenes next week, you also messing with him a little bit. Now you can't do that. You cannot do that. You went off on this dude about him being a colorist, which he still is. You just don't not become a colorist after, you know, one interaction. There is years and years of just indoctrination that you just have to get out of your head to finally see a person, especially a dark-skinned person, as not only a human being, but somebody who is equal. Listen, I've been in this skin my entire life. I know color isn't what I'm seeing, and I know them demons don't change overnight. So for her to sit there and all of a sudden just start working with him, I'm like, your entire presence on this show has been against young Hollywood and his colorism, and all it did was taking him saying that you look nice in a straight wig for you to be like, okay, let's work together. I mean, a lot of people went up for that. I didn't. Because I'm not saying that you have to hold a grudge, right? But to have this platform where you're all about, you know, supporting, you know, dark-skinned people and recognizing racism in the Latino community, how do you then go back and work, not just talk to, but work with somebody who was your negative story arc on this season? It just, I don't know. I don't mind it happening. I just think it happened way too fast. I didn't feel like there was enough time, enough healing. I don't really think we saw enough of young Hollywood growing for it to be like, okay, let's work together. What? And to confirm it, you two wouldn't even talk about the issue you had where you were not on the same page on the radio station. Neither one of them touched it. The radio host kept on asking what happened between the two of them, and they never mentioned it. Young Hollywood looked at her. She looked at young Hollywood. I'm just like, if you can't even talk about it, it's still a problem. It's still a problem. He wasn't even at the place where he wanted to admit his fault. So, girl, I'm rocking with you, but you messing up. You messing up. Oh, gosh. And then in this episode, we're back to Shay, who, again, is going through it with Scrappy yet again. She doesn't want him to work with the kiddies. He's like, I'm going to do whatever I want. She blows up at him, calls him all kinds of names and says she's never seen him again. And I'm just like, Shay, one, he's unavailable, right? And you should know this at this point. Two, you're not even in any kind of relationship. Did you sleep with him? Girl, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. Because just because you're having sex with a guy does not mean that he respects you, that he wants to be with you, that he'll listen to you. It just means that for that one moment in time, he dumped his semen in. Now let's end it with the most controversial episode of the night. Because a lot of people were divided by it. Not me. I knew exactly what it was. And to Gunplay, I say, bravo. You were going to have a career outside of this show, not just in music, but in acting. And he is doing some acting. I've seen a trailer for something that he's working on. So let me tell you something. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, Gunplay is hot. Gunplay is, and I'm just like, no. Let me tell you something. Gunplay went to Rich Dollar's acting coach and he said, I am going to come on this season if I want to talk about my former addiction, because that's what happens with a lot of these reality TV shows, which is why they can still call it reality TV, because a lot of these people, they come on the show and they sit down with a producer and they craft their storyline for the season. And a lot of times they are recreating things that happened to them in their lives. So maybe Gunplay was addicted to drugs at some point. Maybe Kiara did come to a video shoot where Gunplay was high and this actually happened. They're just recreating it because we weren't there to see it because they weren't on the show at the time. That's all. So that's why they're still able to get away with reality TV, although this stuff is being reshot, edited and pieced together. You know what I mean? So anyway, this whole scene where Kiara comes to Gunplay's video shoot and he's high, he's throwing chairs, his jaws, I was just like, yes, brother, give it to me. Give it to me, because that is what I want on this show. I'm not believing it coming into this show, right? But make me a believer, baby. And Gunplay made me a believer. When he picked up that chair, he gave me his best Denzel Washington. Now, poor Kiara. Is that her name? Poor Kiara. Bulletproof butt couldn't get with him. She couldn't. He was giving her too much and she was trying to keep it up. But I'm just like, honey, when Gunplay is giving you Denzel Washington and Fences, you gotta be his Viola Davis. I was ready to see some tears. I was ready to see some, I'm not leaving you. You're my man. Something. She needed to give it because Gunplay was giving it. And that's what I want to see. Give me a show. Let me know that you care about my viewership. And that's what I got from this scene with Gunplay, because last week I didn't review it because I didn't have time, but I was also pissed about it because I was just like, if y'all gonna make this man have a drug addiction on this season, then y'all gotta come with something better than her finding a $100 bill and, you know, sliding down on the wall. Like, come on, don't play with addiction like this. But this scene, oh, they gave it to me, baby. They gave it to me, and I am thoroughly impressed. You better go ahead, Gunplay. I'm telling you, this man is working on his first Best Actor NAACP award, and I am here for it. Anyway, that's where it ends. Next week, we get a scuffle between Amara and Veronica, and possibly a revelation that she's dating young Temecula. I am disgusted, but I will be there to review it. Please stop by in the comment section and let's discuss it. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also, remember to hit that bell, because I think a lot of you aren't getting my notifications because you're not hitting the bell. Hit the bell so you can know when I upload something, which will probably be random because it's pilot season and a sister is booked and busy. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.